There is a lot of talk about content clustering when it comes to search engine optimization. It sounds like it's something new, but I'll share with you the underlying facts that it's how people gather information that matters more than the latest search engine trick. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. Content clusters. So you've probably heard me talk in the past about organizing information so that it's easy to recall. Well, content clustering is a concept that you create a pillar content, kind of a long form piece of content about a broad topic area, and then you expand off of that pillar contextual connection. So let's say you have an article about the benefits of writing copy that sells. Your core article could be the problems people face, the pain that people face when they can't write good copy. Then some of the possible solutions, maybe a bullet point list of how to approach learning how to write copy. And then finally, a conclusion that talks about the benefit of writing copy that sells. That's your pillar page. It might be 1,500 words, could be 800 words. Off of each of those bullet points, you can then spin off a single content. So maybe one of the ideas is to handwrite proven sales letters to kind of build up in your mind a context or an experience, a shared experience through that handwriting. So the bullet point is handwrite out sales letters. You might describe a little bit about that, but then you have a link to an article, maybe 400 words, 800 words, that talks specifically about handwriting out sales letters to improve your copy. Now that little spur that, we're talking about hubs here. The pillar content has a spur off to the side that talks about specifically handwriting content. And then it might say in that article somewhere, if you'd like to learn more about all the many ways to improve your copywriting skills, and then actually links back to the hub. What I was calling this in the past is called chains of communications. And by the way, in the 1990s, I was describing this kind of concept because it's kind of how people think. A website is nonlinear. So if we were writing a book, we might have introductory chapters that would define things. Well, we can't guarantee that the visitor from a search engine or the visitor who links into your site is going to end up on the page, the right starting page. So pretty much every page has to link back to either a core index or some kind of contextual page to help the visitor know they're in the right place. Now, because search engines are measuring your site by bounce rates, by somebody comes and visits your site and then maybe they spend 20 minutes on it before they go back to the search engine. Those factors are important because it now gives the person kind of a choose your own adventure on your website. So what I used to teach in the past, it's consistent today, and this is before the latest version of whatever search engine, was that every article will have 2 or 3 internal links, but no piece of content is more than 3 clicks away from where a visitor may typically land. So if a visitor lands on a landing page, they opt in. So that's the first click. They type their name in, they click submit. It takes them to a thank you page that gives them the information that they're looking for. If it doesn't give them the information they're looking for, it gives them instructions in order to take that next click, which would be confirming their email address in their email, and then it takes them directly to the landing page. So it's 3 hops. Somebody lands on your home page, they see a title for a piece of blog content. That's the first click. When they read the blog content, it offers them more information in the form of a special report. They opt in for that. That's the second click. And then the confirmation page will immediately give them access to the special report. So one thing about pillar content that I don't see anybody talking about right now is that the pillar content can actually be the, quote, special report that people get on opt-in. So let's say somebody lands on some of the spur content and it has a little opt-in page at the bottom. It says, hey, for more insights on website maintenance, including, and you bullet point a few of the benefits, they opt in, and then it actually sends them to a piece of content in the site where they get that information instantly. Now, you can do a single opt-in, you can do a double opt-in, depends on how your system's set up. But the key is with there's being so many options available online, being so many websites talking about the same damn thing, you've got to be able to help that visitor know they're in the right place, get on your mailing list, and find what they're looking for as quickly as possible. Now, we know that there are different types of visitors. There's visitors who are just curious. There's visitors who are seeking answers. And there are visitors that are ready to buy. So again, they could land anywhere in your website. Now, you could force them all into the homepage, but you really want them to be able to land anywhere on the website. And through your linking strategy and how you cluster content around context and ideas, they need to be able to get to an opt-in page. Now, something that works really well, that, again, I don't see this being talked about, but I've been talking about it since the 90s, is topic testing. If you test your topics, so maybe your website has 3 key topics. Okay, in our case with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, it's content for the copywriter who's a freelancer or employee. It's content for the marketer who is a consultant or a small agency. And it is content for business development professionals who are consultants. So there's 3 unique audiences. So I would cluster content around these audiences. Now, I haven't done it yet, but I could probably do an article about the other niches beyond the surface niche, because there are business development people who are consultants who are working $1 million deals who would benefit from being able to write copy that sells. There are copywriters who already know how to write copy that sells who would benefit with larger projects, 5-figure and 6-figure projects. So those people can interact with the topics, which is how to get copywriting assignments. So there is an audience segment clustering around the audience, and then there's a topical segment clustering around the topics. So if you pick 3 to 5 topics and you write your content about it, you can actually topic test to determine which of these topics is most popular and which produces the greatest conversion rate. And now that's where you focus. Because again, there's so much content online. I really do appreciate you listening to this podcast, because there's probably 50 podcasts that in general talk about copy. Now, I have a unique perspective, and those other podcasts have unique perspectives, but on the surface, it's hard to tell unless we're able to direct our visitors into the topic they're most interested in. And that's called a topic self-selection. I'll have to see if I have the video, but I did a short training for a client on this, because every visitor in their behavior, their clicks, is choosing specific content. That's how the search engines are targeting you, as far as off your IP address or off of a cookie. Every click you make, every step you take, they're watching you. And ultimately, that gives them a profile to present new content to you through the ad system. Now, that's something else I talked about in the 90s as well, is that the advertisement that works best is navigational rather than advertising. So if you see a banner on the side that says for more information about such and such, and it's in front of people who want that information, they're going to click on it, even though they know it's a banner ad. And then when they get to the other page, if it gives them some of that, what they're looking for, and then offers them a way to get additional information, they'll follow through. That's how the white paper sites work, where they offer these big, giant, boring white papers, and people are opting in with their full email address, with their full postal address, with their full phone number. And they're downloading these reports, and they're reading them, and they're getting involved with product. Now, content clustering is the current term. I don't know what they're going to name it in the future. And they call it a search engine optimization strategy, an SEO strategy. I'm arguing that your website is about storing information and resources in such a way that they're beneficial to a particular audience. So whether you call it content clustering, whether you call it topic clustering, whether you call it just a really nice way to organize your website, like a book has table of contents, which go to individual chapters. And then individual chapters might have subchapters or subheadings, which group certain types of information. And then now you can either go to the index, which is the back of the book, which is by term, or you can go to the table of contents. See, people are familiar with this for thousands of years. That's how you read books. It wouldn't be any different on a website. Now, again, there's different terms, there's different tools. Topic testing is made much easier with spreadsheets. So I've shown you in a couple videos in the past that the topics, you can do this with keywords too, but the topics that people search for and find your website are the topics the search engines already believe are contextual to your website. So if you determine which one of those create the most leads, you can create more content of the same. And in majority of cases, it'll increase your lead level because the context, the density of the context increases on your site because you're adding more content that the search engines are already sending you traffic for. And in the long run, you end up with more organic traffic. However, don't stop at the SEO. And when people talk about content clustering, they're like, oh, it's SEO, it's SEO. Well, what I used to do in the past is I'd write 4 or 5 articles around the same topic, and then I would package them up in a tutorial, and then I'd offer the tutorial by mail as a report. And so somebody would send me $50, $49, they'd send me $39, in some cases $390 for me to send them all the content in a print format at one time that they can sit down and go through. Now, of course, if you're creating an information product, you're going to have more than just the content. See, that's the problem with the internet right now, is you can get an unlimited supply of content, but very little about practical application. See, I try to drive the practical application because once you do something like only have a few topics on your site and then test which topic makes the most conversions, and then basically each topic becomes a campaign, you're going to see instant results. And you're going to be able to do more with your site. You're going to not dilute your site. You're going to start driving in specific lead generation opportunities. And then as your mailing list grows, you'll be able to cycle back traffic. More importantly is that as you understand these topics, you can go find other websites, mailing lists, joint venture partners who already reach that segment. So again, audience topic or audience segmentation, topical segmentation. Then you can go put your offers that worked in front of those people as well. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. I want to thank you for being a part of this podcast. You can visit me at www.adbriefings.co.uk to ask your questions about content marketing, about structure of information to make it easy to recall, lead generation, or any of the other topics that I've covered today. I'm looking forward to hearing your questions and possibly working with you in the future. Thanks for listening. Again, I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, where we help copywriters, marketers, and business development professionals transform business relationships into profits guaranteed.